May so rest and abide in the bosom of the Almighty.
President Kofi Adams leads armed forces to pay tribute to late former President Rawlings. We'll get the latest as he commiserates with the former president's family. We'll also bring you details as political leaders throng his residence to pay their last respects.
We had several coups in our country, but he ended it.
He played his role as a brave and courageous man, and Ghana has much to be thankful for.
Also, former President Mahama leads NDC political committee to, among others, consider the next steps towards honoring the memory of the ex-president.
And so it's our duty as a party to ensure that his place in history is assured and guaranteed.
And in sports, we'll hear from the General Secretary of the Ghana Football Association, Prosper Harrison-Ado, on the lack of a title sponsor for the Ghana Premier League as the 2020-2021 season kicks off tomorrow.
We'll also examine the legacy of former President Rawlings and hear from his close confidant and appointee, Dr. Ben Kumbo, who says Northern Ghana would never have had electricity or running water the time it did if Rawlings had not been president.
He threatened engineers that if that was not possible, they should resign. He will get another engineer to do that.
That's more as residents in Tamale share fond memories of the late former president.
Yeah, actually, the first thing that came to mind after his demise was our famous UDS that he brought. In fact, he is one of the presidents that we had in Ghana who had the northern region at heart.
And later, we'll bring you the lighter side of the man popularly referred to as JJ. Do stay for details. Thanks for your company on the Midday News. I'm Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. The details now. President Kofi Adams has been commiserating with the former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings and family members of former President Rawlings today. Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, retired, passed away at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital on Thursday after a short illness. His death has sent shockwaves, not just in Ghana, but across the world. Earlier today, President Kofi Adams led the Ghana Armed Forces to observe a minute's silence in memory of former President Rawlings.
Let me ask all of you to be outstanding in honor of the memory of the late First President of the Fourth Republic and former Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, one of your own, who yesterday joined his ancestors. May so, and the souls of all the faithful departed, rest and abide in the bosom of the Almighty until the last day of the resurrection, when we shall all meet again. Amen.
Well, President Kofi Addo a while ago visited family of the ex-president at his Ridge residence. Let's go there live and speak to presidential correspondent Elton Brobe for the very latest. Hello, Elton. Just give us a sense of what's happening at the residence of former President Rawlings.
Hello, Bernice. It's difficult to hear you.
Hello, Elton. If you can hear me now, I'm asking you to give us a sense of what's happening at the residence of former President Rawlings.
Right. So President Kofi Addo just concluded what I want to describe as the media opening commiseration with the former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings and the immediate family of the late President Jerry John Rawlings. He reiterated what he said yesterday when the family called on him at the Jubilee Hall yesterday, and that he is extremely disturbed and saddened by the demise of the former president and somebody he described as was very dynamic, and pleaded with the family to accept government position to give the former president a befitting state burial. In his words, he was a property of the state, and for that matter, the state should play a vital role in sending him off. When he was done, Zanato Rawlings, who is the first daughter of the late president, spoke on behalf of the family and said that they are liaising with the Chief of Staff office to ensure that the program between the family and government are put together to ensure a befitting burial for the former president. As I speak, they are engaged in what I want to call a closed-door session with the immediate family From here, President is moving to the Accra International Conference Center, where a book of condolence has been opened in the name of the former President John Rawlings, where he's expected to sign. And then we're all waiting to see what he will write in that particular book.
Elton, before you go, we know that a lot of politicians have been passing through in the early hours of today. Are there any of them you notice around?
So President Akufo-Addo himself came with the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, together with the National Chairman of the MPP, Freddie Blade, the Chief of Staff, and other leading members of government from the Jubilee House. Even before we got here, I saw Fritz Balfour, who is a former minister during the Mahama-led NDC administration, and some leading members of the party. What is going to happen, I'm sure for now, is that we will see a lot of more of them come to the residence, even though there is a military and police presence here to ensure that those who have no business here are not allowed into the main premises. And
well, just before you go, Elton, we heard rumors that the former First Lady is unwell. Have you spotted her today?
Exactly. She was in the room when President Akufo-Addo called on them. Together with the leading family members, they welcomed him. I must say that she was hale and hearty, no sign of fighting any illness that could be visible. And she welcomed them. She had a chat with the president. She smiled a bit. She had a nose mask on, wearing black, and then black also covering the head, customary with Akan tradition. At this particular time, nobody can go and shake hands with her until and after the funeral.
Exactly. Thank you very much. That's our presidential correspondent, Elton Broby, bringing us live updates from the residence of former President Rawlings. Well, earlier today, Volta Regional Chairman of the NDC, Brigadier Henry Kojo Ametefe, passed through the residence and called on President Akufo-Addo to restore the celebration of June 4.
Probity and accountability is now being reduced. Today, we learned the President of the Republic is going to sign the book of condolence. He's so saddened about the death. He's going to organize the state burial for him. But there is something that he must not forget. If he does not restore some of his celebrations, particularly the June 4 and 31st December, he should forget about state burial. Because what are you going to remember Rawlings for? It's what he stood for. And that has led this country to reducing tension among people. And by also helping to institutionalize state institutions that help to champion the development of our country. But if it's every time you see the judiciary, you see the institutions, when they are doing wrong, nobody questions them, then we are actually reversed against the John Rawlings brought to this country. I was so saddened. Immediately I heard of the death, I moved to Accra in the night because I felt his death is so painful. And one of the legacies we in the NDC and the people of Ghana should not forget is to let the NDC win election and to restore the confidence that he was championing. Look at the development of the current regime. They didn't do anything. They collected so much money. They didn't use any money for development. These are the things Rawlings was standing against.
You have the Volta Regional Chairman of the NDC, Brigadier Henry Kojo Ametefe. Well, on his part, flag bearer of the Convention's People's Party, Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, described Rawlings as a brave man who played his role under the Fourth Republic. According to him, Ghana must be thankful for the life of the former president.
I, on my personal behalf and also on behalf of the wider Convention People's Party, would like to express our heartfelt condolences to his wife, Nana Konedo Rawlings, his immediate family, and all of the NDC party as well. He played his role as a brave and courageous man, and Ghana has much to be thankful for his contribution to this nation's development and, in fact, the existence of our Fourth Republic.
You heard the flag bearer of the Convention People's Party, Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, and former President Mahama is assuring the NDC will do all it can to ensure that the place and legacy of former President Jerry John Rawlings is secured in history. A meeting of the political committee of the NDC is underway and is being chaired by the flag bearer John Mahama. The leadership of the party is meeting to discuss the legacy of the former president and share ideas on how they can assist the state to give him a befitting burial. Several bigwigs of the NDC, including Kwame Ahoy, former Speaker of Parliament Doa Jaho Dana Budapi, among others, are in that meeting. Here's former President Mahama introducing the meeting.
in Ghana's history is assured, and it's a positive one because he's responsible for ending coups in Ghana and is responsible for founding the longest period of stable democratic governance in Ghana's history. And so it's our duty as a party to ensure that his place in history is assured and guaranteed, and that we eulogize him for the role he has played.
Former President Mahama is flag bearer of the NDC. Now, what is the greatest legacy of the late former President Rawlings? This question may have been on the minds of many Ghanaians as the world comes to terms with the passing of an icon. For his close friend and former Minister for Defense, Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, the ability of millions of Ghanaians to drink refrigerated water or watch television in the northern part of the country is an everlasting testament to the former president's leadership.
There was no way but for the passion of Jerry John Rawlings that the national grid of electricity could have gone to the north. It was impossible. He threatened engineers that if that was not possible, they should resign. He will get another engineer to do that. It was done. We are here enjoying it, and Akosombo has not dried up. That's the social level. When you go for the political level, I keep asking people, lawyers particularly, immediately the Constitution came and the indemnity clauses are not democratic. These transition provisions, they are not democratic. The question those lawyers don't ask themselves in terms of constitutional practice, why is it that this is the only constitution that has survived for 27 years? Is it not indeed the case that it was a political document well negotiated which brought everybody on board?
You heard that Dr. Benjamin Kumbo. He is a close friend and former Minister for Defense during the Rawlings era. Well, the northern region was one of the regions that benefited immensely under the leadership of Jerry John Rawlings. The former president played a crucial role in the founding of UDS when he used his prize money from the World Food Prize of $50,000 as seed money for the university located in the northern region capital, Tamale. Some residents there have been sharing their fond memories with us.
Yeah, actually, the first thing that came to mind after his demise was our famous UDS that he brought. In fact, he is one of the presidents that we had in Ghana who had the northern region at heart. So it's a big blow to we the people of the northern region. Among his works are the third roads that we are seeing. It was his tenure as a president that the sex company was brought to northern Ghana to tar our roads as first-class roads. A lot, electricity, pipe-on water, school, and a lot. We couldn't count all. Because
I just returned from the mosque when I heard the news. I missed the heartbeat and my head started aching. Rawlings was the first to let us see tarred roads, electricity, and several developmental programs. So we can count his legacy. He's the only president who had the development of the country at heart. When I heard it, I suddenly had a diarrhea because of the love we have for him. Rawlings' love for Dagbon is immeasurable. He's the first to unite the people of Dagbon.
For me, Rawlings is the person that is think of Ghana. Because talking of his legacy, he's the founder of the government studies. I even heard that he brought electricity to Tamale, he brought roads, tar roads to Tamale. And a lot of people have come to us because of Rawlings.
We can't forget J.J. Rawlings because this road, especially this Lamashabu, since J.J. Town, when he comes to the power, you see this road. Even when J.J. Rawlings made this road, no contractor come and put any distance in this road.
You heard there some residents of Tamale sharing their fond memories of the former President Rawlings. Let's now speak to Professor Elliot Al-Hassan. He's Dean of the Faculty of Biosciences at the University of Development Studies. Thank you for your time this afternoon, Prof. How will UDS remember the former president, given the prominent role he played in establishing the university? Hello, Prof.
Hello, good afternoon.
Prof. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. How will the UDS remember former President Rawlings?
Hello, the line is not clear.
Hello, Prof. Can you hear me now, please?
Yes, please.
I'm asking how UDS will remember former President Rawlings.
Yes, former President Rawlings, as we all know, was the one who established UDS. He had some $50,000 US dollars Hunger Project Award, and he used it in establishing UDS. As at that time, Northern Ghana had no tertiary institution, so that was the first public tertiary institution established in the north of Ghana. And you know, access to university education was something most people of the north wanted. They used to spend hours, sometimes even 2 days, traveling from the north down south to have university education. So establishing UDS in the north gave access to many more people from secondary school to get access to university education up north here. So Northern Ghana will remember Rawlings for this singular honor done then.
Prof, while he was alive, he rejected the idea of naming the university after him. Now that he's passed, do you think the subject must be revisited as we look at immortalizing him?
You know, in life, usually we name things after people when they are gone. So I'm sure when he was alive, he didn't want that to happen. Now that he's gone and resting, I think this is the right time to think of renaming UDS after him, so that to become Jerry Rawlings University for Development Studies. I think it is something that we must do to honor his memory.
I appreciate your time here this afternoon. Professor Elliot Al-Hassan is Dean of the Faculty of Biosciences at the University of Development Studies. Now, three people who had worked closely and developed different levels of intimacy with the late president had the toughest time accepting his loss. Alex Sebefia, Neil Ante van der Poy, and Kofi Adams, his former aide, eulogized him as one of the greatest blessings to the country. On PM Express Thursday night, they shared some never-before-heard experiences they had with him.
The first time I saw him, he was trying to mount a horse, which ironically was called Lucifer. No one was allowed to ride the horse with a saddle, and only two people throughout the whole time that horse was alive, at least 2 or 3 people, one was a lady, were able to ride that horse. One was Jerry John Rawlings, and the other was Kenneth Korte.
He came to Sunyani, and we're all organized, and we went to Kumas at Sunyani to meet him. Significantly, when he was greeting almost everybody, he pulled me out. He looked at me and said, "You'll be a great man." He just told me that, and I was touched.
For all the people who may have come so close to him, I consider myself as one of the luckiest, if not the luckiest, because I got to work with him at the time that he was beginning to realize that he needed to open up to somebody.
And this is what they had to say about his legacy.
There was no way, but for the passion of Jerry John Rawlings, that the national grid of electricity could have gone to the north. It was impossible. He threatened engineers that if that was not possible, they should resign. He will get another engineer to do.
And you heard that Dr. Kumbo talking about the legacy of the former president in regards to development in the north. And about what's happening to the former president's biography, his former aide, Kofi Adams, explained on the show last night.
At the point he was really pressing on me to write, and that I needed to write for him to read before he would pass on. Unfortunately, he didn't write. I have also not written. Even if he wrote, he couldn't publish. We had agreed, we had given the title for his book, but we have never completed the book. I'm sure that project has to be completed because the material truly has been collected. That's a matter of refining it and getting it out. The way it was, he really didn't want to see these professional writers to write because he wanted something that he would have control over, because that is President Rawlings. He doesn't want anything of him being changed in a way. He wanted to see himself in whatever is written.
You heard the former aide to former President Rawlings, Kofi Adams. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Still to come, we'll bring you the lighter side of the man, popularly referred to as JJ.
I think I prefer the lady. I mean, this little warm too you want to enjoy. You want to come and... Anita, what does that make of us? Anita,
Me proud to unti.
This December, don't just think about the political party you belong to. Choose a leader who has what it takes and the team to manage and build a strong economy.
Think about the millions who are enjoying free SHS thanks to a strong economy.
Think about the millions of jobs being created and protected because competent hands are managing the economy for you.
Think about the roads, dams, and health centers being constructed thanks to a strong economy.
Remember those who gave you doom and handed the economy to the IMF.
Think about a leader who has liberated us after 5 years of doomsday.
Remember, your vote is about your future, our future. Vote for the leader who can manage the economy much better and create more jobs for you. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo, number 1, and the MPP parliamentary candidate in your area.
Life as we know it has changed. Everything's rearranged and disrupted. But one thing remains constant. Excellence must be celebrated, even in a disruptive era. So, to usher in the 31st Marketing Performance Awards, the CIMG will be celebrating a marketing week from the 9th to the 13th of November. Then on Saturday, the 14th of November at 7 p.m., all roads lead to the Labadi Beach Hotel for the CIMG Marketing Performance Awards to honor companies and individuals who have excelled within the marketing arena in 2019. Theme: Marketing in a Disruptive Era. The awards event will be streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. For corporate table reservations, call 0244-585-208 or 0208-177-752. All the COVID-19 protocols will be strictly observed. CIMG. Marketing means business. CIMG. Working for Ghana.
Thanks for staying here on the Midday News on Joe 99.7 FM. It's now time for sports with Hans.
Hi, Bernice. And the Ghana Premier League returns tomorrow. And one of the concerns ahead of the 2020-2021 season is the lack of a title sponsor. General Secretary of the Ghana Football Association, Prosper Harrison-Addo, says that the absence of a title sponsor should not be a problem.
Headline sponsor is not compulsory. If we get it, fine. If we don't get it, and we can get a lot of category sponsorships, that will do for us. So we'll strive to get sponsorship across all the various categories: naming, rights sponsor, airline sponsor. Any sponsor is welcome to come on board, and there are various engagements going on. So what I will say is that immediately we sign one, we will announce. You see, we are in a very difficult time. You cannot legislate for sponsors. A sponsor can sign and say, I don't want the fanfare, I just want to sign and contribute. So it depends on the engagements. Various companies we are dealing with have their management, they have their board, they have their shareholders. Some of the engagements are far advanced, but they have to also go through their processes. You don't want a company coming to sign without the approval of their board, their shareholders, and things like that.
Prosper Harrison-Addo is the General Secretary of the Ghana Football Association, and we brought you the GPL Primer on Joy News on TV, the Heart Edition, the Kotoko Edition. Join us at 10 p.m. later tonight for the Omnibus Edition that takes a look at all the 18 Ghana Premier League clubs ahead of kickoff tomorrow.
We'll definitely join you and the team, Hans. Thanks so much. Tributes continue to pour in for the late former President Rawlings. Let's listen to General Overseer of the Christian Action Faith Ministries International, Archbishop Duncan Williams, who says Mr. Rawlings' decision to hand over peace fully to former President Kufuor was what endeared him to him. He spoke on the Super Morning Show.
One thing that really warmed my heart was during the 2000 election. I was then in the United States, and few people who had called me, and they were very concerned whether he was going to remain in power or he will relinquish power and hand over to the Kufuor administration. And so I called him just to touch base with him and to see what was going on in his mind. And he said something that really touched my heart. And from that time, I saw him as one that really do care for his country. He said to me, he said that he has done his best, and he believes it's time for him and his administration or government to leave. for another to come and build this nation. And he did that. I think that one he made was very, very courageous.
That's Archbishop Duncan Williams. He's speaking on the Super Morning Show. And as many struggle to come to terms with the former president's death, many more continue to eulogize him for his good works, especially during his tenure as president. One of the areas named after him is the Rawlings Park at Mokola here in Accra. We took a trip there to speak to some traders there.
Moving back into how it got to be named as a Rawlings Park. We'll try and speak to a few of the people here, or drivers, passengers alike, and then also even some of the market women here who, are just hearing of the news of the former president at here. Can be a news at
in Nuakashi Kabia, Ntabia, on Kansas Sang Basan, on in Nuaka Sensu Akashio. Aka Wanukwa, a book, Nika Mea or Nupa, Aka Rawlings, oh, that's what Rawlings go. Aka will bring the Aka Bay while a low. Shimona na Diemoquia Moho. Rolling back, Tabia Midday, son each of Bomi Bamu. Rolling Sane, in Bangmesa, in Bakashi, Bakotofan, in Bakashi Fio, Edakashi no shishi. You know she no only no she be a no yo, I told be a Rawlings Park. No me one ye make a be a form, be a cani. She never be a leba club, be a fan, or fan, or not be a watane. You are ne boom to a shami wa gente.
She can abiake. Mini niji noko kadi komeni ka che Rawlings be uwakai.
Oh, makayake. No me tutuwe. Akeka ya mama. Kota mama Africa block situation. Ni kote ko block benaka mama utawo.
You heard the trader at the Rawlings Park here in Accra basically saying that she was very shocked when she heard of the passing of the former president and even had to take some medication and rest, and she's still in a state of shock. But a big tree has fallen and the nation is in grief, but we need to celebrate this man. Even in his old age, he had the charisma and verve to get down from traffic to direct vehicles. Rawlings was nicknamed Dr. Boom because his speeches were always electrifying. He was a newsmaker, and even in his death, he's making waves. We bring you the humorous side of the late president.
Your Excellencies, I think I prefer the lady. I prefer the lady. I mean, this little warm too you want to enjoy. You want someone. Anita, what does that make of us? Anita, mi frauti unti. Anita, see me, yani papa. Yani papa, but she's getting too fair. Young people mind this is okra no coffee no madam Fatia no coffee or this channel akotodwem no motwem no afa handkerchief towel no yes sir.
Those are some humorous clips of the former President Rawlings, but he's still trending on social media, Mark.
And at Darling Steve on Twitter says, as swift as the eagle and strong as the lion, how the mighty have fallen. Rest well, sir. Hashtag rest in peace, Jerry Rawlings. And from Samini, he says, hashtag rest in peace, Jerry Rawlings. Thanks for hashtag democracy. And at ATL_UCC, rest in power, ex-president Big God. And the last one is from Mizelazi, who says, if our people lose the courage to confront what is wrong, then we become collaborators, quoting Jerry John Rawlings. Hashtag wake up everybody.
And that's how many more eulogize him on social media. That'll be it for this edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. I appreciate your company. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Don't go away yet. At 1, we've got business news for you. And we thank you so much for choosing us, home of independent, credible, and fearless journalism. Up next is Living Word with Dr. Menso Tabo, continuing his series on choices.
What you want?